Great morning. It is December the 6th, Sunday. I wasn't online yesterday. It was another one of those days where I
didn't find any appointments for yesterday.
I didn't ask you. Siri is off on her rant again this morning. So anyway, I wasn't here yesterday. It was one of those days where exhaustion just hit, and so that's what happened with that. So anyway, let's look at our 3 cards this morning and see what it says. Now this one is interesting. What we have here is this distorted desire. The distorted desire. Okay. It's that which its conscious desire rarely satisfies the unconscious need driving it. So these are the things that are driving you. The things, when you look in the mirror, what is being reflected back? Are you really seeing what's there or not? And the last card we have is the 3 of Swords. What is it that just really knocks you to your knees? Now, I'm calling this, what popped in real quick with this, is your what if. What is the big what if that's powering you, that's driving you? What if? If there was something you could say, well, what if only, or the if only this had changed, if only this was different, the if onlys, not the what if, the if only is your heartbreak, the thing that just drags you down. What is your if only? Okay, so that's what needs to be looked at to see what is fueling this image that you see. Now, the best way to describe this is if you see someone that's anorexic, we'll look at them and see that they are just skeletons. But when they look in the mirror, what are they seeing? They're seeing something that is quite different, okay? I also knew a girl when I was in high school, beautiful. I mean, the most beautiful girl I'd ever seen, Cherokee. She had these lovely green eyes, blonde hair, and this caramel, most beautiful skin. Absolutely gorgeous. She didn't see it. She really did not see it. And it didn't matter how many times you told her she was absolutely beautiful. She wouldn't believe it. Okay? So what is it that's driving your if only? If only I had money. If only I were prettier. If only I were thinner. If only, So what is your if only that is the bane of your existence, that is driving the distorted desire? Okay? So what is the hole in your life that drives these things? So this is a time to just stop and look at what is the hole. And you need to make it W-H-O-L-E instead of H-O-L-E. Instead of a hole that's sucking everything in, you need to come to find out that you are already intrinsically whole. W-H-O-L-E. Okay? Rather than letting something, this if only, if only this were to happen, then things would be okay, if only. So, time to stop and look at your if only. And really look at it deeply so you can cut that knot, okay? So you can cut that knot. So what is your if only that keeps one in pain and keeps one wanting to be driven by these erroneous desires and keep you from seeing your image clearly, okay? So this is a time to stop and look and challenge those things. You know, if you look at those things deeply, you'll find out 9 out of 10 times that you have accepted some erroneous thing. If it's not freeing, then it's a bondage, and you don't need that bondage. You know, time to cut that thread and say, I'm not going to be driven by this craziness any longer. It's not true. It's something I've adopted, a false belief system. Just like Trump is driven by, he's gaslighting himself and absolutely in such denial that though everybody on the planet Earth will tell him you have lost, he is not going to believe it. This is the hole that's driving him. His if only I were successful, and he's not successful because of his own actions. If only he could come to reality. You know, he makes things worse for himself by his demons that are driving him. You know, as a child, I think he was, the only worth you have is if you're successful, okay? Otherwise, you're worthless. So those are the demons that's driving him. What are your personal little demons that are there niggling in the background? It's time to send them on their way and say, I don't need any little niggling demons here, you know, to push you into despair or depression or acting out or, you know, using drugs or whatever to cover over, to numb yourself. Again, it's better to take the time to look at what's driving you and get to the bottom of it and see what's there for what it is, and more importantly, for what it's not. Okay? Take those things off the table, put them in the trash, put them in the toilet, flush it down. You don't need it in your life. Okay? So I'm going to leave this here. Much love and light to everyone. Please be safe out there. Oh, and I wanted to say, I did get my thing from Hogarth, the astrology read, and I would say it was maybe 90-95% accurate. There were a couple of things in there which I didn't get, which maybe look at, but yeah, overall it was very, very interesting, and it did, for the most part, follow sequences in the life path here, and that's what I wanted to see with it. So it is very interesting, and I could see where it does follow a life path for the most part. Now within that, of course, we always have free will, okay? But there are certain aspects of things that are there, okay? So that was very interesting to find out because, like I said, I know nothing about astrology. I am totally totally ignorant when it comes to that. I'll just put it out. Absolutely ignorant. I have no, know nothing about astrology. So yeah, no, it was very, very interesting, and I have to say, yes, it did. It did speak to major things going on in the life as childhood, what was there, how the things were interacting. Very interesting. That was very, very interesting. So, yeah, I think it is beneficial, for people to look into and know how to work within it. Okay? So, yeah. So I just wanted to put that out there. It was a very good read, very interesting, and for the most part, pretty accurate. Pretty accurate. Yeah. So I'm going to leave this here. Love and light to everyone, and I'll see you online.